Alright everyone, hope you are doing well. In this video we are going to look at an easy strategy you can follow almost every single day. We are going to look for liquidity points on the Asia highs and lows, and the same with the London highs and lows. So here we go, here is the strategy. We're going to look for the session highs or lows to be taken. We're going to go down to the 1 minute and look for an inverse fair value gap. We are going to enter on the close of the candle that closes above or below the inverse fair value gap, and we are going to target a straight fixed 1 till 2 risk reward. So how does this look? So if we have our sessions right over here, as you can see, we have our Asia, we have our London and our AM. This is the New York AM session. So we want to look for lows or highs to be taken. So basically, if this is a session, if this is Asia, we are going to look for the lows and the highs of Asia to be taken. As soon as it's taken, here's price, it comes down. Immediately we are going to go down to the 1 minute right over here, and we are going to wait for a inverse fair value gap that needs to form there, and the first candle that breaks through this inverse fair value gap, we are going to enter straight on the close. We're going to put our stops below the lows, and we are going to target a fixed 1 till 2, and then we anticipate price to go to our target, and we are going to do exactly the same for the highs. We're going to wait for a sweep. We're going to wait for an inverse fair value gap to form on the 1 minute. You're going to enter straight away, and then that's our strategy. So this does not happen on the same pair every single day, but it happens a lot. So let's look at this example to get straight with it. So I'm going to press rewind. I'm going to rewind a little bit so we can take section for section. So the indicator that I'm using for the sessions and that I'm going to use for the inverse fair value gaps is the Flux Charts price action toolkit. This is a paid indicator. Go check them out. This is a premium indicator. It does all the price action trading for you. It assists you with it. This goes from fair value gaps to inverse fair value gaps to order blocks. Everything that you need for a price action trader. This indicator has it all. So I only enable for this strategy, I enable the inverse fair value gap, and I put on my sessions right over here. So then this looks something like this. So when we have our Asia, we want to mark out the lows, Asia low, and we want to mark out the Asia high. Asia high, and then of course the Asia lows. So now we are going to wait for price to sweep the highs or the lows. So as you can see, immediately there we swept the lows. So when we go down to the 1 minute, and now we are going to wait for that first inverse fair value gap to form. I'm going to wait for the indicator to draw it out for me. There we go. So on the close of this candle, so this is the candle, this one right over here, this one that broke through that fair value gap, and it closed above the fair value gap that became an inverse fair value gap. You're going to put your stops at these lows right over here, and then you are going to target a fixed 1 till 2 risk reward trade. You're going to enter the trade, and let's see how it goes. And there immediately you can see we hit TP. So now let's just play price forward and see what happens. Let's go back to the 5 minutes and let's play forward and see what happens. So there you go. So now you can see The Asia highs has been taken right over here, right over here. So now we jump to the 1 minute, and now we wait for that first inverse fair value gap to form. So when we rewind it, so we can just see how it looks after the highs has been swept. We have a sweep of the highs, and now we wait for the indicator to draw out the inverse fair value gap for us. There you go. So there we have our inverse fair value gap. You can enter your short position right over there on the close, stops above this high, and you can target a fixed 1 or 2 risk to reward. And let's see how this one plays out. And as you can see, we got our TP right over there. If you wanted extra confirmation for this trade, I talk about this on the channel a lot as well. We had our market structure shift right over here. Liquidity has been taken, market structure shift, price retraced into this inverse fair value gap, and there was your second entry or an entry, and then you went down. Let's look what happened right over here. Same thing, we had our market structure shift, price retraced into this fair value gap right over here, and we had a reaction from this one. So you can use your market structure shift as a confluence for a more conservative entry. And then let's see how the rest of the day played out. As you can see, New York just went straight down after the highs of London and Asia has been taken. Alright, so let's look at one more example. Alright, so let's look at this example. You can see we have our Asia session just finished. Here is our Asia highs, and here is our Asia lows. We currently took out our Asia highs, so let's wait for London session to start. As you can see, London session has started right over here. We already took the highs. We took another high right over there. So let's wait. So let's go down to the 1 minute. And now in London, we are going to wait for the first inverse fair value gap to form. Here's that candle closure right over there. So you're going to enter there. You're going to put your stops above these highs, and you are going to target a fixed 1 or 2 risk to reward trade, like right over there. Let's play price forward and see what happens. And as you can see, we hit our TP right over there during London. So let's just zoom out and see how price plays out. Alright, so now we can clearly see our London session is done. So let's mark out the London highs, the London lows, and let's wait for New York session to start. So the New York session has started. We're first waiting for some sort of liquidity sweep. There we go. There we had our London lows being taken. So now we wait for the first inverse fair value gap to form. And on the closure of that candle right over there, you can put your stops at these lows, and you can target a fixed 1 or 2 risk to reward trade. And let's see how this one plays out. And as you can see, immediately we went to TP. So when we just zoom out a little bit, we had our Asia highs has been taken. We had our London lows has been taken. So our very first trade, second trade right over here. and then that's how the strategy works. So you wait for the highs and the lows for each session to be taken. You go down to the 1 minute. You enter on a inverse fair value gap. I'm using the Flux Charts price action toolkit. Inverse fair value gap right over here. And for the strategy, I'm using the New York morning session, the AM session, London session, and Asia session. Go check out Flux Charts. Link is in the description. Please leave a like and subscribe if you like these videos. And then I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.